Because of Diddy, every celebrity in the motherfucking world is on the phone with their lawyer right now. Now y'all know Diddy is being held and they not trying to let him go, y'all. And if you've been following me, you know exactly why they not gonna let him go. Because when the article came out, I said, because of this article, Diddy will not be held, he will not get bond. And I like it. Now, before we get into him not getting no bond, let's just go over some of the things. 1,000 bottles of lubricant and baby oil is what feds found. I'm telling you right now, anybody that has 1,000 bottles of lube is guilty of whatever the fuck they saying you did. Oh, they uncovered that Diddy's freak-offs was so crazy. The victims needed IV drips after it, of days of Diddy. They had a press conference even saying that they have evidence that Diddy was pressuring and threatening witnesses and giving them false narratives to say. This was in 2023. They going up back to 2028, but they got recent shit he did wrong. To everybody who was telling me that wasn't nothing about to happen to Diddy or whatever, I hope y'all just get off this app. I told you Diddy blew it, but look what he got to give up to have a hope to get out, and they ain't letting him. They know he a flight risk. $50 million bond. Co-signing from his mom's sister, got the brothers, the daughter, got the adult sons in it. Giving up him and his mama's house. Mama got to hit the streets. Did he see how you bring your mom and all that into this mess? But why they doing all this to Diddy? Because it is. Diddy's private jet goes off radar after being traced to Antigua amid agents' raids. He should have never did that, and I told y'all then. Other things to note, he's looking at up to life, 15 years to life. And even Diddy's lawyer know it ain't looking good, because he said Diddy gonna be fighting with all his might. Whatever the fuck that mean. I don't know how much might he got. He might not work.
This man put up a $50 million bond. $50 million bond. And the judge still said, you're denied. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You're going to jail. You finna be in chains. Out of all the news today, I think I'm still stuck on this $50 million bond, because if you look at the fact that in California, the average bail amount for murder is $2 million and your bond amount is 10% of that, right? So that's $200,000. And you can pay your bond by putting up your house, putting up your assets, whatever the case may be. But this man paid off an $18 million home. And the judge still said, nah, you gonna sit in jail. I've talked about this before, but I'm gonna say it again. I don't care what you have. I don't care what your life looks like. I don't give a fuck what other people have. I really don't. Because what did you do to get it? How did you end up in the position that you're in? Because the fact of the matter is, if you did something dirty to get where you are, you will have to pay the debt of your transgressions. You will have to pay it in full. It might not be on this side. It might be on the other side. But you will never escape the return on the investment that you made to get where you are. And the return on your investment might be jail. I'm just so shook. Like, you put up a $50 million bond and they said, nah, that ain't gonna work.
The Diddy and Drake shit has me thinking a lot about our society as a whole, because them as individuals represent core American U.S. values of individualism, hedonism over everything and everybody, individual joy usurped from it doesn't matter who's pain and suffering, excess abundance without unchecked, unfettered abundance and social climbing for the sake of social climbing and more power and more access to resource. It's like it's embodied in the collective also as individuals, because we value our own comfort and safety over the lives and suffering of others, which is why we're willing to let other people, whole swaths of community, suffer when we all could be wearing masks and taking precautions, because we don't give a fuck.
As I was in the courtroom, I saw Combs was wearing the same clothes for the second straight day in court. When he walked into the hearing, he seemed confident, looked over at his family and waved. But after nearly 2 hours of listening to both sides, District Judge Andrew Carter Jr. refused to grant Combs bail. The 54-year-old tried for home detention, offering to post a $50 million bond, give up his cell phone and internet access, and even restrict female visitors to family and the mothers of his children. But the judge said he had serious concerns about potential witness tampering and sided with prosecutors. The once self-proclaimed bad boy was arrested earlier this week and pleaded not guilty to federal charges of sex trafficking, transportation to engage in prostitution, and racketeering. The multi-million-dollar Grammy winner has lost his most valuable asset, his freedom. He's now being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York. Combs faces up to life in prison if found guilty at trial, but it could be at least a year before that even begins. Combs' lawyer maintains his innocence.
You want to know why Diddy did what he did? We have to go back to LA. Why LA?
Why LA?
Listen up.
Lee, let me introduce you to Carter's theory of criminal investigation.
Criminal investigation.
Follow the rich white man.
Follow the rich white man.
Follow the rich white man?
Exactly, now you're learning. Every big crime has a rich white man behind it waiting for his cut. Now,
Every crime has a rich white man waiting behind the scenes, waiting for his cut. Now, we know who it could be. Some of you are saying Jay-Z. He's not white. Some of you are saying Clive Davies, whoever that is. Is that him? No. We've got to go to LA and check out the rich white guys Diddy was hanging out with. That will tell you who is behind this whole thing. Are you in or are you out?
This is a distraction right here. This is how they cause distraction from what's really going on in the motherfucking world right now. Diddy been doing the same shit he been doing for fucking decades. Now election down the street, so let's lock Diddy up, right? Fuck the FBI and the CIA, nigga, Homeland Security. And if we gonna lock Diddy up, why the fuck aren't we locking up the people that was partying with him, huh? Because everybody in the party wasn't no goddamn victim. Some of them were participants. Let's lock up Stevie J. Let's lock up Jay-Z. Let's lock up Beyonce. Let's lock up Clive Davis. Let's lock up LeBron James too. He loved Diddy parties. But no, they're not gonna do that. You know why? Because they're saving those people for later, when they need to cause another distraction. And I'm not a Diddy supporter, okay? But I know a distraction when I see one. And Diddy got some dirt on some powerful people. Very powerful people. So you know he's gone.
I never thought that I would make this video, but it's time. They finally got Diddy. They finally got him. But the thing is, there's so many more men out there, just like Diddy, who are abusers, who use their fame to lure women in and abuse them. And I wanted to come on here to say that it is time to out every single abuser in the industry, every single one. They all need to be held accountable. And the thing is, I would be a hypocrite if I came on here and I was telling other women that they need to speak up if I'm unwilling to speak up. I was raped at Chris Brown's house by his friend, Sage the Gemini. Yes, I know, I should have never been at Chris Brown's house in the first place. This happened when I was 18 years old. I'm 26 now, as of today. And I should have never been there. But Sage the Gemini raped me at his house. Chris Brown raped my friend when she was underage. She was under the influence and she was 16 years old. These were on two different occasions. But the thing is, all these men, all these abusers, they hang out together. Chris Brown and Sage the Gemini are rapists. Why have I been afraid to come out all this time? You want to know? It's because right after Sage raped me, he had me sign a paper saying that everything that happened was consensual. And he was my Uber drive. He got me the Uber to Chris Brown's house. And I didn't have any money. And I needed him to get me the ride back. And like, I didn't know if he was gonna, I didn't know what was gonna happen if I, in that moment, I was in shock. I couldn't believe that I don't really know how to talk about this. I just wanted to come on here and let you guys know that Chris Brown and Sage the Gemini are rapists. And I think that we all of us, girls, guys, everybody who has been raped, abused by powerful people in the entertainment industry, fuck it. I don't care if I signed an NDA. I don't care if I signed this paper that said that it was consensual when it wasn't, and you fucking know that. I wonder how many fucking girls that you had signed something just like that. That is fucking diabolical. The fact that you had that paper brought out right after is so fucking sickening, and it tells me that you've done this before, that something else has happened, and there's no taking back. I already posted on Twitter, so I just feel like I have to make a video now too, and it's time for everybody, and now I can tell other people that they should speak out too. I'm not gonna say who the girl was, because that's her decision if she wants to come out and say what happened between her and Chris Brown, but she was 16 at the time. She was under the influence. I don't care anymore. I don't care, because I know the truth, and the truth is more important than anything, and I'm so fucking happy. It's time for all of you, for everybody to know who you all are. People are not going to be afraid anymore.
Diddy is the devil. Who offers to pay $75 million to get out of jail, and they say, yeah, no, not enough? I mean, are we really thinking? Everyone's talking about his potential bond fees and set bond amounts. Is nobody not looking at how astronomical these numbers are? When's the last American we heard of that needed more than $20 million to get out of jail? So if you offer that amount of money and they say, yeah, no, we're going to put you in jail instead, yeah, I really thought they was going to let him go. I started to think that he was going to get the bond. I was happy with ankle monitor, relinquishing your passport, no G5s, no more freak off, no 2C. I thought that, but no bond, no bail. That's amazing. That just makes me believe in God even more.
Shit's getting weird. Pardon infinity. All right, so I've been hearing the chitter chatter about Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Diddy Combs, whatever he goes by now. And I'm almost positive he did that shit, but I also don't know. Okay? And we can't all sit here and act like we know, because we don't. But I was also thinking to myself, I was like, listen, we coming after Diddy, and rightfully so. But what about all the other motherfuckers that saw this shit and said nothing? They not gonna get charged? That's all I'm saying. This nigga didn't do it himself, okay? Not even Epstein did it himself. You feel me? So I know the internet is gonna internet. And I hope the internet so we can find out the rest of these motherfuckers. But there is one person I do want to hear from, okay? I'm not saying he's involved or anything like that. I would just like to hear from this nigga. This dude right here. Farnsworth Bentley. If you grew up in the 2000s, you know exactly who Farnsworth Bentley is. This motherfucker had the most elegant drip of all time. But then poof, I just stopped hearing about him. He just disappeared. I might go down the rabbit hole to see what happened to him, if there was a fallout or something. I don't know. But I feel like Farnsworth got to know something. I feel like he was Diddy's right-hand man at one point. I'm not saying he's involved in any kind of way with what Diddy be doing. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, I feel like he should umbrella himself into the courtroom as soon as this trial starts. That's all I'm saying.
I'm vivacious, eccentric, and I'm a Scorpio.
Your white party is up there with the top 3 that you've ever thrown for people.
And this year at Burning Man, at an undisclosed location,
Who's the person that's number one on that invitation list?
Leonardo DiCaprio. Favorite article of clothing? Socks. It was called Puffy Does Paris.
Can I touch it?
Yes.
Who's one actor you hope to work with?
Denzel Washington.
Why?
You will not see a president love in 2020, but you will see some change. It's gonna help you get some change. We're gonna just spread this world with love. Don't want to be the president though. I want to have too much fun. Do you know?
And true or false, did you have the most memorable time with me on this interview?
Damn, that's true.
People were saying that they felt bad for Diddy's children, and I didn't understand why. But seeing that video of Christian walking to the car looking like he want to break down and cry really got me. And I feel like I'm just now realizing that this is his children's first time seeing that their father's money cannot get him out of this. Their lives literally came crashing down. Is no longer here, and now his father have to deal with the consequences to his decisions. It really is just like a sad reality for them. Just imagine your father being king and you can afford to do anything that you wanted to do, anything that you want, you could get. And then all of a sudden, all of that change. Your father is not who he once was. He does not have that pull anymore. Your life is going to do a 360, and it's going to be a sad, sad reality for you.
Brand new Diddy news just came out. His PR guru of over 20 years quit. Her cell phone is no longer active, her email is no longer active, and she's the one who has worked with him for decades and was pivotal in changing his bad boy rapper image into this like entrepreneur, white party type of guy. And that's not all we're learning. There's also a new allegation that has come out, and this one is coming from a former reporter. She talks about how when she was 23 years old, she interviewed him, and then the after party was questionable. Definitely not safe for TikTok. We also now know that despite his defense team offering $50 million and saying he will have no cell phone access, his property will essentially become Fort Knox, the judge is saying no, absolutely no bail. He will be held here until trial. Which isn't that surprising given his history with witness intimidation and physical attacks. But here's something I learned about his defense attorney. Guess who else he represented? Keith Raniere. You know, from Nexium? While everybody has been drawing parallels between Diddy and Jeff Epp, they haven't been talking about that connection. Or the fact that apparently he's in the shoe inside that Brooklyn detention center. There's a lot that just got released today, so I'm breaking down all of it, including the new allegations over on the podcast. You can find it all here on all podcast platforms. And here's the exact episode.
This shit is getting dark, y'all. Apparently, Diddy had the NYPD helping him out in his operations, bro. Check out this video I'm about to show y'all.
So it seemed like the police were on Diddy's side. Is that the idea there, that he kind of had him doing his bidding? Well, it was more than they were on his side. They were actually doing his dirty work. There was a picture of P Diddy on the wall in the station. There was a picture of P Diddy on the wall of a New York City police station, correct?
Ain't no way, bro. This dude had the police doing his dirty work. The police helping him in sex trafficking and racketeering. This is outrageous, bro. Now, for some of us, we're not surprised. But for the police to be helping in these type of sex rings, bro, how dark do these situations really get? How big is this ring that we're talking about? How many people are actually involved? And when they're all caught, what is this country even gonna look like anymore? This is crazy, bro.
The craziest thing about Diddy's arrest is that Drake's still having a worse year.
You know Kamala's not gonna win. Listen to this excerpt. So it's been a couple of weeks since I've made one of my long format videos for my followers, and the whole thing about this whole Diddy thing in the news right now is just a distraction, right? The reason that they're trying to distract you is they're trying to put the emphasis on this whole Diddy thing, when in fact the emphasis should be, why hasn't America done anything with its riches? Right? When people get rich, What, they have parties, they have planes, they go swimming, whatever the fuck they're doing, let them do it. But if you conversely look at what's happening in China, right? They didn't have celebrities. They didn't have all these scandals. What they did was they brought 800 million people out of poverty. And by doing that, they got high-speed rail, they got airports, they got technology that we in North America don't even have in our toys. Okay? They have the best smartphones. They have the best EV cars. They produce them with the highest quality and the cheapest prices. And the reason that they're able to do this is because they're not distracted by the bullshit of North America. Right? And if you don't think that this is a true statement, look what happened 40 years ago in China, and look what happened 40 years ago in North America, right? We started getting into celebrities, we started making sci-fi movies, we started doing the things that North Americans do, which is what? Waste a lot of time. And what the Chinese did was they came to North America, they learned our technology, and what did they do? They went back to China and implemented it, right? They brought companies from North America and they said, listen, you bring your goods and we will build them. We'll build them for the cheapest possible price available. And, you know, like stupid North American capitalists, we went to China, set up shops, took advantage of this cheap labor market. And what happened was China learned from us. They didn't steal anything. They learned. They learned how to produce goods better, faster, and cheaper than anywhere else in the world. And what did we do in North America? We were watching movies like Titanic and E.T. and the spacewalks and missions, right? Completely distracted by Hollywood. Because Hollywood, essentially what they did was they distracted you so they didn't see how far behind we were going to become with our Chinese counterparts. This is a really amazing thing that we have to look at today, because what's happening is China is accelerating to the point where they are going to be the biggest market ever. North America is just a consumer market. We don't produce anything. And when you don't produce anything, what do? You look inwards, you navel gaze, you wonder if you're trans, you wonder if you're celebrity is in jail or not. Really, what does it matter? What does it matter that P Diddy's in jail, right? When you can't make rent, how important is that? But China, on the other hand, they're accelerating. They're going to take over everything. See, we're at a precipice right now where we don't know how to react to this. And so what we've done is we have accelerated the Hollywood dream. The dream that, P Diddy and Eminem and Puff Daddy and all of these people that don't make any sense. They don't produce anything. All they do is consume your energy. I hope you enjoyed this talk. And I just wanted to bring it back to the fact that if we don't start paying attention to what's real and what's going on, what they're going to do is they're going to take this social experiment of North America, because that's essentially what it is, the experiment, right? We're going to fail in this experiment. And the problem is that it's at our detriment, because humanity will remember this as one of the darkest times in history. There you have it.
All right, so y'all know Diddy is the topic right now, but forget Diddy. It's all about Kim Porter. Have y'all read her book? It is out now, but I want to get into some of the things that I thought that was really, really crazy in this book. Diddy liked for her to like to use butt plugs a lot, and she always left him every time he wanted her to do it. I thought that was so awkward. So Diddy was a person who, and that was back then, so he was using butt plugs back then. Look at this here. But he always wanted her to use butt plugs a lot on him, and she was not with it. But that was a lot in the book that they broke up a lot because of that, and she didn't want to do it. We found out that he had with Mary J. Blige, and her and Diddy had got into a scuffle, but eventually her and Mary J. Blige Mary and Diddy end up having a and she said Mary J. Blige was hot and fine and everything, and they had a nice time. Okay. Somehow Al B got into the scene. They was all inside of a hotel room drinking, having drinks, and Diddy asked, Al B, what's up, what they want to do, you ain't had it in a while, played it off, and Al B was like, he got into it. And somehow she said Al B went to such and such on Diddy. So I guess he went to smooching on Diddy. And Diddy went to smooching back on him, and she ran out the room. That's what she said in the book. The next scene that was crazy to me is when she said that her and Tupac, she loved messing with Tupac, and Diddy knew about it. They had an open relationship. He knew about Tupac. He knew about Tupac, and that was fine. But one day, her, Tupac, and Diddy was in the room, and Diddy said to Tupac, my stuff bigger than yours. And Tupac was like, what? And I guess he wanted to disrespect her, but which he really wanted to have with Tupac, all three of them, and Tupac wasn't down with it. And I guess from there on out, she said in the book, that's when her and Tupac went to beefing, and Tupac was even running away from her. Now, this is so crazy, okay? I ain't even finished this book, but I'm going to let y'all know about this book and Diddy and his stuff. Now, this is coming from his baby mama, and this is stuff that she's saying back then about him, and it's real crazy. But if y'all want to purchase the book, it's on Amazon, all right?
I'm going to sound like a complete conspiracy theorist, but hear me out, right? DMX exposed Diddy over 2 decades ago. Late 90s, peak of his career, he did an interview saying, the love I had for the industry, I don't have anymore. I don't want to be part of the industry. Basically calling the industry out for being shady as fuck. DMX signed to Def Jam Records because Diddy, who was head of Bad Boy Records, said his sound wasn't marketable, didn't want him. As soon as he signed to Def Jam Records, Diddy came back and said, I'll double the money, I'll line your pockets, I'll sort you out. DMX said, no, I'm good, thanks. Locks, also of Rough Riders, as is DMX, then signed to Bad Boy Records with Diddy. DMX did an interview saying, Diddy's putting him in shiny suits, taking credit for their songwriting, and raped him. And shit, I'm glad that wasn't me. Diddy and Jay-Z are in shady cahoots. Jay-Z eventually becomes head of Def Jam Records, at which DMX is still at. Album 6, DMX has had 3 albums go multi-platinum, saying, okay, we've done the music video, we've got the single ready, like, when's the release? Jay-Z says, I don't know. Jay-Z previously said that he wanted to stop releasing music as an artist and focus more on that. Changed his mind. So essentially sabotaged DMX's 6th album release to pursue his own career and make that the focus of Def Jam. DMX has said this in interviews, openly said, he sabotaged my album release. I came to him and I said, when are the dates? When's the release dates? When are we doing this? And he kept saying, I don't know. And he said, well, what do you mean I don't know? We put the work in. When is it ready to go? Shortly after this, DMX was pretty much ostracized from the music industry, relapsed, had no support system around him for the addiction issues that had plagued him his entire life, moved to Arizona, ended up going to prison because he had a sheriff after him every time he left the house, who ended up being one of Donald Trump's right-hand men when he was president. And I'm not saying that Diddy killed him, but the lack of care for artists in the music industry and the way in which, why do you think fucking Mace became a pastor? Diddy's second-hand man at Bad Boy Records for years, like, that. Why do you think he fucking left the industry and found God? DMX once chased Mace in front of Diddy in Miami, and they've since made amends. They talked it out a couple years ago. What bond do they have that the music industry broke them so much? I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it seems far too calculated to be a coincidence. You know what I mean?
lot of stuff going down ever since P Diddy went to jail. A lot of people are leaving their jobs. I have a list of people that are like stepping down. Nike CEO John Donahue has stepped down. That's why Nike has the best slogan, just do it. He's like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm out of here. We have CEO of Nashville, Sony Music, Randy Goodman. He's stepping down. CEO of Warner Music, Japan, Kaz Kobayashi. He's stepping down. We have CEO of 300 Entertainment, Kevin Liles.
Does anyone else find it a bit suspicious that the day after Diddy got arrested, the CEO of Warner Music's 300 Entertainment, Kevin Liles, stepped down?
CEO of 300 Entertainment, Kevin Liles, announces his resignation on 9/17. CEO of Nike, John Donahue, announces his resignation 9/19. Kaz Kobayashi, CEO of Warner Music Japan, announces his resignation 9/18. Max Lusada, CEO of Recorded Music, announces his resignation 8/1. Julie Greenwald, Atlantic Group Chairman, announces her resignation 8/6. Randy Goodman, Sony Music Nashville Chairman and CEO, announces his resignation 9/18.